All right. Fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media. My name is Judson Powell. All right. This is the thing. We know the big deal right now is the election. That's really all that really remains. I mean, not too much more you could really say about the sitting president. I mean, it just gets more and more outrageous every single day, and even to the point where, I mean, you can tell he's a con man because he uses extortion, even down to the fact that now the governor of Puerto Rico is endorsing him, but she just endorsed him because he threatened her and told her he wouldn't give her any more money to repair the infrastructure in Puerto Rico. That's it. I mean, it took the man almost his whole term before he realized that Puerto Rico was a United States territory and that it was actually part of the United States. He was talking about. In fact, he talked about her so bad, talking about how bad of a job she was doing, and all this stuff. So whatever, man. Anyway, but people are falling for it. He's threatening democratic states and doing all kind of crazy stuff. So voter suppression, removing mailboxes. That's why, y'all are crazy. I would tell the people that's walking around talking about they don't want to vote. And let me tell you something. Ice Cube, Boyce Watkins, Claude Anderson, Kanye West, uh, uh, your boy, uh, your boy in Kentucky, all of these coons, they walking around here. Ice Cube is a coon. He's getting paid. My wife showed me this video that he put on the internet, and I was just like, there's no way that a black man would say what he said without getting paid off. And so I believe he's getting paid off. And the other thing is, and for sure, Dr. Boyce Watkins, you're a buffoon. He's like and he's always up there talking about how, all the intelligent black people and this, that, and the other thing. Well, you may have a PhD in finance or economics, whatever it is, but you know what? You have never studied history. You haven't. You just never studied history. And for all the people that try to talk about, oh, your ancestors didn't die, yeah, they did. People died, and I wanted to bring that up because and I think I might have mentioned this like a long time ago. I don't know if I mentioned this recently, but when I was graduating law school, one thing you had to do before you graduated from my law school was you had to write a paper. And so, and it had to deal with a certain subject matter, and then you had to pull out cases, well, basically federal cases, and Supreme Court cases. And so I did it on the civil rights movement because I was like, I want to see what's going on. And I mean, I literally read like hundreds of cases, all dealing with civil rights. The single common denominator with most of them was your right to vote. And a lot of people died. A lot of people, unsung people that you don't even know about. But if you go into a law library, pull out the Supreme Court reporters, and then you can pull up one specific case, and then just start going with the cases, that came or that sprouted from certain cases. And the one thing that was in common with the civil rights movement was that they had an agenda, which everybody talk about this black agenda, but they had an agenda, and part of the agenda, and the only part, let me put it this way, the only part of the agenda that I did not agree with was what? Integration. Every other part of the agenda was good. Why? Because it enabled us. You have to remember, like, we got the first black Supreme Court justice, Thurgood Marshall, during the Supreme Court's fight with Brown versus Board of Education. So that's why we ended up having black judges and black politicians, period. Because up until that point, because Dred Scott basically said that we weren't citizens and we had no right to do anything. So it took a long time for us to get to the point where we could, do what we needed to do. Now, with that being said, here's my deal. Voting was like one of the only things that got us any progress. Integration, which we love integration because y'all want to be so much like the white man that is pathetic. Y'all want to be like the white man so bad. Black folks will not, and here's the problem. Black folks don't even want to admit to being from Alkebulan, from Africa. Black folks don't, and like I said on another post, if everybody that's black in the world admitted to being descendants of Africa, which we are, if you got melanin in your skin, once again, the Judson Powell melanin test. Put your butt in the sun. If you turn dark, you got melanin. If you burn, you don't. But everybody that is actually really a descendant of Africa, if you actually admitted to it, it's like, do you realize that 2 out of every 5 people is what? Is African. 1 out of every 5 people is what? Chinese. The other 2 people in the 5, right? They are not white. So what does that tell you? That is why voter suppression is so popular with the Republicans, because they know they don't have enough people to win. If everybody that they oppressed, if everybody black, brown, yellow, because that's all they do. What do they talk about? They talk about the Muslims, at first it's the Muslims' fault. Everything, they always scared of somebody, or somebody's always a threat. Now Trump is trying to pump up the Chinese, like I said before. It's black people, it's Muslims, it's whoever. It's always somebody that they're trying to fight, and that's just racism and white supremacy. That's what it is. Call it what it is. It is what it is. But the only part of the civil rights movement, and the only part of the that's why we ended up having a Voting Rights Act, which they're trying to do away with that. Why do you think they want to get rid of it? If it's non-consequential to black people, why would they want to get rid of it? It's just like, that's why they don't want to get rid of Jesus. Right? Because it's that I'm trying to tell y'all, look, listen, the only thing that hurt black people out of the civil rights movement was integration. And why did integration hurt? Because integration forced us to get rid of or threat terrorist activities like Black Wall Street and stuff, where they tore our businesses and burned our businesses and all that kind of stuff. That's the only threat. The only threat to black people was integration. When we integrated, because think about this, before that we had the best baseball leagues, the best basketball leagues, right? All the best players were black. We had everything. We had black insurance companies, black banks, because what? Because before integration, they wouldn't allow us. They would not allow us to do these things. They wouldn't even allow us to sit in the same classrooms with them. My wife still has a living aunt right now who's a lawyer, and they would not let her sit in the same classroom with the other students. And she's a nice person too. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. You got to understand what is the power base in this country. The things that black people need to do is get rid of the Electoral College, because that's a sham. It doesn't need to exist, because now there's no reason, there's no way, shape, form, or fashion that if you're really interested in politics that you can't find out about the candidates or know who's running. Because now we have a wide. See, back when all that stuff was doing, you had printing presses, and whoever controlled the printing press controlled who could win or who could lose. Or, so if I went to the local printer and I said, oh yeah, here's $1 million. Well, guess what? I'm gonna be on the front of the paper every day. So the only thing that really hurt us was integration. Voting never hurt us. In fact, voting did us really good. And look, there were tons of people. Don't get me wrong. I'm telling you, go pull up some of those cases. And I'm talking about go pull some criminal law cases. And there were people that were lynched, murdered, all kinds of stuff trying to vote. They had, paper bag tests, grandfather clauses, all kind of stuff to prevent what? To prevent you from voting. And Trump is doing it right now today. What do you think all that stuff about taking the mailboxes off the streets? The governor, I think it was in Texas, it limited one drop box per county. All kinds of stuff to prevent you from voting. Voter, all the voter ID laws. You couldn't vote unless you had an ID. Those kind of laws. Everything is all about voter suppression. Why? Because if you vote, then you can control the situation. Because democracy works, or a representative democracy, a republic works on the vote. That's how it works. But if you ain't in the game, you ain't got to look. Political power goes along with economic power. If not, why is every rich dude, why are they always, why do you have lobbyists? When I was in Washington, D.C., every other person was a lobbyist. You go out to a bar or to a club or something like that, what do you do? Oh, I'm a lobbyist for such and such and such and such. They trying to influence because when you make the laws, then you have control. But if you don't make the laws, what do you got control over? Nothing. So Boyce Watkins is an idiot. He's like the biggest, he just always, and he's always up in somebody's face like he's like, it's like, please. You don't like T.I., you don't like Ice Cube, you don't sit around the crib listening to T.I. and Ice Cube, I guarantee it, with your old behind. Come on, man. And the fact of the matter is, these are the same people that led us to the slaughter are still leading us to the slaughter now, telling us not to vote. First, y'all change all our women into bitches, hoes, sluts, twerkers, what is it, WAP, whatever all the stuff they got out now, right? That's all to lead you to the slaughter. That's all to lead you to the slaughter. Women weren't like that. The Temptations never called women bitches and hoes. You ain't never heard Smokey Robinson say, "Come here, bitch, get on your knee." I mean, come on, I'm just telling the truth. You ain't never heard that. That's what I'm trying to say. But as time went on, they never glorified, all they talking about is drugs, sex, and like overwhelming material gain, which most people don't have and won't get. Just like Boyce Watkins on there talking about Amazon stock. What black person, how many black people in the hood can afford to buy some Amazon stock? I play the stock market. I'm just telling you. Most people, he needs to give strategies for people that need to get into the stock market. I'm not saying don't play the stocks, but what I'm saying is do it on the basis where you can afford it and you can do it. Because what got me into it, I used to work with this guy, and he was this old guy. He had the raggediest car I ever saw in my life. And I was like, man, look at this car. And then one day, old boy pulled up in a Porsche, and I was like, dang, you can't, what happened? He said, I was playing penny stocks, and one of them penny stocks hit big. That's the kind of advice that we need. But go vote. It's like it takes a second. So you voting is not going to make all it's going to do is reelect Donald Trump. And then y'all still should be sitting there, yeah, y'all don't like Trump. Y'all don't like him either. And if you do, you can, and he's paying y'all, whatever. He's paying y'all off to like him. All of these, and I'm telling you, Boyce Watkins, you are a coon. Ice Cube, you are a coon. Kanye West, you are a coon. A double coon. Come on, y'all. For real. And telling y'all not to vote after people, I'm serious, people have died. A lot of people. Like I said, I posted Medgar Evers. He was just one of the most famous ones. I mean, for that matter, Dr. King and Malcolm X died. The ballot or the bullet. I mean, come on. That's a famous speech by Malcolm X. The ballot. Voting. Don't get the game twisted. That's how this whole thing works. Oh, and the next time I'm gonna tell y'all about how Benjamin Banneker and John Hanson And then the rest of the black people in the Continental Congress designed this system of government. So stop saying this system wasn't designed for you. It not only was it designed by you, it was designed for you. Anyway, Fast 15 Minutes is up. My name is Judson Powell. Like button, subscribe button, all the buttons, but most of all, love button.